Hi everyone. So this video is here to help you see the easiest ways to find a student's assignments. What's due in their classes coming up? When is it due? And that'll help you keep track of not only what assignments have to be done, but when your homework is, when you're expected to have things ready for class. So we're looking at the on-campus page right now of a student, and this is a fake student that we've made for the purposes of this video, and they're taking a class. Their class is known, it turns out, as example class, not a real class at all. And let's take a look if we can see how the student's assignments are laid out. I'm going to go to that student's example class. And there's nothing on the bulletin board. It's not a real class, but if we go to their assignments, and let's take a look at their future assignments coming up, we can see a couple of assignments here listed for the students. And this is one way you can look at assignments, but what I'm going to do is advocate that you do it a different way. I'm going to advocate you look at the calendar view for assignments. And I think you should do that because when you look at the calendar view, it gives you a much easier visual representation of when things are due. So I'm going to jump to the calendar view, and here's those assignments we saw, and you can see they look a little bit differently now. So here's what you can learn from this. The first is that these assignments all have a naming convention. You'll notice this first one says HW, Complete Lab Report on Osmosis. Well, if something says HW, that means it's something that you do at home. It's a kind of homework. Whatever sort of assignment it is, it means you should be doing it at home, not during class time. And then the other assignment that's listed here says CW, quiz on the chemistry, and it kind of cuts off the words there, so we'll come back to that again. But that CW means it's classwork. Now that could be a test, that could be a reading assignment, it could be vocabulary work, it could be a quiz. The point behind the CW is just to tell you that's not something you have to do at home. So by knowing those two naming conventions, if you ask yourself, do I have homework tonight? Well, you can tell that, first of all, by looking at whether or not it's HW or CW. The other thing you'll notice about this is that these assignments on the calendar spread, in this case, across a couple of days. But this one just happens to go on this one day, on this Wednesday. Well, what does that mean? That means that if the assignment is active, it's an assignment that you could reasonably be working on. So this homework assignment is active on Monday. It's due on this Thursday. And by the way, that means it's due during class time. It doesn't mean it's due on Friday. It means it's due whenever your class is on Thursday. Well, if you're looking at this and you say, should I be working on this? Well, if it's a homework assignment and it's started on this Monday, you could reasonably be working on it on this Monday and this Tuesday and this Wednesday to have it ready to turn in on this Thursday. On the other hand, if we look at the assignment that's the classwork assignment, it's only on this one day. And that means that really you shouldn't be thinking about worrying about that assignment on Monday or Tuesday. It's something that you should be doing in class. Now, if it's a quiz and you want to study for it, that's fine, but it's not something that you should be doing at home. If it's an assignment, for example, that says write a paper, but it says classwork, that means the paper is being written in class. There's another way you can look at the calendar view as well. For some of you, this might be more helpful. And just up here at the top, there's your school calendar. And the school calendar has a lot of stuff on it. Over here on the side, you can ask the school calendar what to put on there. So for example, you can tell it, I don't want to see the master calendar. I don't want to know all the main things going on. Or maybe you do. You may or not be interested in the Res Life calendar. You can look for schedule for games and practices. This one is a student's schedule. And when this one is on, which it is in this case, we're going to see in green right here that that student's example class shows that it's right there at 8 o'clock these days. And if this is a real student, obviously they have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 classes, depending on how many study halls they have. You can also get this to show you your assignments. So if I go into our assignments, it's got my assignments, in this case for my example class. And so they're showing up here as well. And I can see right there it says, oh yeah, there's that homework, complete the lab report on osmosis. And there's this classwork, complete that quiz. So you can look at it that way as well if you like, and that still has the advantage of showing you visually, hey, when should I start working on this? In the case of this homework, this is going to span several days. But in the case of this classwork, it's really just on this Wednesday, and you need to worry about it. Well, what about the fact that this CW quiz on the chemistry was cut off? So I'm going to click on that, and it pulls up the title in full for me, Quiz on the Chemistry of Water. And these titles should be explanatory. They should be something that tells you what it is. Notice that it says under there that you should see Google Classroom. And the reason it says that is onCampus is what connects to our registrar's office for grades that we can send off to parents and to universities. But Google Classroom is the thing where really we do the bulk of our work. So you can think of onCampus as sort of two covers of a book. It's a good place to find assignments, and it's a good place to see your grades. But in between, the work is primarily done in Google Classroom. Well, I hope that shows you how to find all your assignments and where they are, and I hope it's helpful for you. And remember, if you have any questions about something like that, always go through and ask your teacher if you're confused. You can send them off an email, or you can talk to them in class. But either way, make sure that you speak up and make sure that you're heard. Thank you so much.